I would venture to say you're not the average investor, right? I would venture to say you're not the average rental property investor for sure. It seems like I can kind of see a smile on your face when we're talking
I've heard
about,
that before.
right? Like when I can see it when you're talking about putting together this 700 grand and it's got to be a yes or a no today and close in 14 days. You kind of like that stuff, don't you?
It's fun. Yeah.
And that's incredible. I have that gene as well, and I like that. But I also know that freaks some people out, and that not everybody is built that way. But this asset class, and I know you and I are aligned on this. This asset class and access to this asset class is so needed because, frankly, stocks and bonds are not cutting it for the average American not because they don't work long term, but because they're so volatile, and you don't know when the up and when the down is going to be. And if you need to access and start your life, your retirement, or your life depending on these assets, and you're in this valley, that affects your quality of life. And, the reality is that real estate is incredibly consistent over decades and decades and decades. So I know we're aligned in that this access to this asset class is critical. It's paramount. And it's why you have really taken on real estate consulting. What do you say to people that maybe aren't like you, in a sense that they are never going to get excited about coming up with 700 grand to close on a property in a week or two? They do not want to go on, I think it was 20 property visits and sending in offers for like 6 months. They do not want to deal with issues that you find once you own these properties. They honestly don't even want to think about what it's like to cross collateralize loans and all that good stuff. What do you say to normal physicians who want to get in this asset class? How do they do it?
Well, you don't have to. So just real quick, going back to what you were saying about stocks, one thing I tell people is when you compare the performance of my real estate portfolio to the performance of the S&P, when you take into account the appreciation, depreciation, cash flow, it doesn't really blow it out of the water. But even in the bull market that we've had over the last few years, it's actually outperformed the S&P. And every portfolio should have a cash position. You should always have cash on the sideline for those, rare times like COVID, where, as Warren Buffett said, it rains gold from the sky. But if you are consistently keeping cash on the sideline, thinking that, at some point in the next 2 or 3 years, the market's going to drop and you're just going to swoop in, you're also missing a lot of opportunity costs there. Even with the market the way it is now, you can easily get, 13, 14% internal rates of return. So kind of leading into your second question, the answer is if you don't want to worry about cross collateralizing loans and all that other stuff, you really don't have to. It's almost as easy as buying something on Amazon nowadays. You have inventory on websites. You can see what the insurance is going to cost. You can see what the projected cash flow is. There's probably already a renter in place. All you really have to do is buy it.
Absolutely. That's why a vertically integrated company like JWB is around, right? All of these things that Chris just overcame to build his portfolio. He did a great job, but you don't have to do it that way. You probably didn't even know that there were options like turnkey properties available at that time. If you had known back in 2017 or 2015, 16, 17, that you could have done it turnkey, would you have?
Absolutely. Not the whole portfolio, but I definitely would have certainly added some homes to the portfolio. When I started out, I didn't even know what turnkey was. I didn't hear that term until, at least several months or a year into it. And it's like, there are people that do this. They build homes, put a renter in and then sell it. They make their money and you get this asset.